One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in its soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Whistles report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning to everybody. Let's get it in. Big shout out to every single one of you guys, a part of the Breakfast Club, man. Can't appreciate you guys enough. Thank you guys for making it to the show. You guys could be anywhere in the world, but you decided to be here with me. I very much appreciate all of you guys. We got a very interesting one this morning. Israel finds hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold in a Hezbollah bunker in Lebanon. So this is going to be kind of crazy, guys. The media is not really talking about it. There's been two outlets that did one little excerpt out of it, and then that was it. And the truth is it took me about like 6 comments, as you guys were seeing in the intro there. It took me about like 6 comments just to reply to SNS one time in the chat, and I'm being blocked on my own platform. Thanks, YouTube. Love that. But so we know obviously how this is going to go. So with that being said, make sure you guys are liking the video. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. And also make sure you guys are subscribed down below. As you guys know, that this is probably going to be a heavily, let's just say heavy YouTube demonetization on this video, most likely. So if you guys would like to help out the show, you guys already know that we shout out all the super chats, the channel members, all of that great stuff. But if you guys would like to help out the show monetarily and not have YouTube get, any of that, is right here. We're going to have that scrolling down below for you guys. Also, before we hop into it, make sure you follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of the show, of my lifestyle, of food, all crazy shit, you know what I mean? So we have a good time over there as much as possible, man. So with that being said, everybody, good morning to all of you legends, man. It's always great to see you. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, not only this morning, but as well as last night, if you guys caught last night's panel with KSD. So that was a very great time. Always a good time, and lots of laughs were had, you know what I mean? So I can't thank you guys enough for being here, and a lot of knowledge was actually dropped on that episode, man. I highly advise anybody that's in the motorcycle club culture to go watch that. What are the other options? You keep threatening to beat me with your leg if I don't show up. Oh, damn, man.
Stop the cap.
You're not supposed to be telling these people what our deal is, okay, Steve? Don't be doing that. Something's going on with my notification bell across the board. Oh, man, Dwayne, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're doing well. We got Tats up in here as well. Brother, Straight Jacket, good to see you, kind sir. And also Danny up in here saying, is the chat loading slow for everyone? Yes, YouTube is on a fucking bomb one right now. Just so everyone knows, like, I think it's the topic. I'm not going to lie, everybody. You know what I mean? We know what happens when we talk about a certain state within the world. Who's a legend? I know Shadow's a legend, bro. What up, Mike? Sent 2 hellos and got deleted. See, that's what I'm saying, Frank. It's unfortunate because I know that obviously I would see if you put it up and someone had like deleted it or blocked it. I don't even get that. YouTube is saying you're not even worthy of knowing what your people say. Feels ultra bad, man. Good to see you guys though, man. All right. So, and Tiffany up in here as well. Appreciate it. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this topic, man. This is going to be an interesting one as it's not really been covered, everybody. And if you heard that there were hundreds of millions worth of gold found, it'd be all over the world. That would be world news. That'd be something that would be that'd be on every Instagram post. That'd be everywhere, dude. But because it's this, no one wants to talk about it. Well, the one people that did talk about it, well, is Fox. So let's go ahead and discuss how this even started, and we'll go into it a little bit here. So we're only working with what we've got limited at our fingertips here, right? So Israel, this is live now from Fox 19 hours ago. All right, let's go ahead and check this out, everybody.
Tonight, we're exposing Hezbollah's financial network and how Hezbollah uses it to fund its terrorist activities. In recent years, the state of Lebanon has experienced a deep financial crisis, which was exploited by Hezbollah. Hezbollah's main financial arm is the Al-Qard Al-Hassan Association. It provides financial services to Lebanese civilians and pays the salaries of Hezbollah's operatives. Al-Qard Al-Hassan, which violates the international law, is sanctioned by the United States and other Western countries. Hezbollah's financial network is based on two main sources of income: money from the Iranian regime and money from the Lebanese people. Iran's Quds forces transfer money to Hezbollah from Iranian oil sold in Syria. Iran also sends suitcases of cash and gold by planes to the Iranian embassy in Beirut, and then directly it goes to Hezbollah. Hezbollah has also built factories in Syria, in Lebanon, in Yemen, and in Turkey that provide income for its terrorist operations. Hezbollah Unit 4400 manages this financial network. It was run by Jafar Ksir, also known as Sheikh Salah, until he was eliminated in a precise strike in Beirut at the beginning of October. Today, in another precise strike in Syria, we have eliminated his successor. The IDF will not allow Hezbollah to regroup and rearm. Not only is this Iranian money used to kill Israelis, it also threatens the Lebanese economy. As Hezbollah continues to smuggle Iranian money into Lebanon in dollars, it devalues the Lebanese pound, making the economic crisis in Lebanon even worse. Another source of income for Hezbollah is the citizens of Lebanon. Hezbollah makes money for Lebanese citizens by offering them financial services through the Al-Qard Al-Hassan Association. Last night, we called on Lebanese civilians to move out of harm's way from Hezbollah's financial facilities across Lebanon, including in the Dakhia area. We published these warnings in Arabic, on social media, and also through other channels. The Israeli Air Force carried out a series of precise strikes on these Hezbollah financial strongholds. One of our main targets last night was an underground vault with millions of dollars in cash and gold. The money was being used to finance Hezbollah's attacks on Israel.
No fucking way. So that very money that was stashed in a fucking bunker. If you got to stash your cash in a bunker, dude, you want some bunk time, you know what I mean?
Vault was deliberately located under a residential building. Our strikes will degrade Hezbollah's ability to finance its attacks on Israelis. Tonight, I am going to declassify intelligence on a site that we did not strike, where Hezbollah has millions of dollars in gold and cash. In Hassan Nasrallah's bunker. Where is the bunker located? Directly under El Sahel Hospital
in Beirut,
in the heart of Beirut, in the Dakhia. This is the hospital. From both sides, you can see an entry and exit. Those are entry and exit tunnel shafts for the underground bunker. The entrance is located in the Al-Mahdi building and the exit is located in the El Sahal Center building. This is the bunker. It contains rooms, beds, and infrastructure for long stays, and the
Why is
ability
this not
to
widely
direct
talked about right now? This is crazy.
combat from underground. Hezbollah built this bunker directly underneath this hospital. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in cash and gold inside the bunker right now. I'm calling on the Lebanese government, Lebanese authorities, and the international organizations. Don't allow Hezbollah to use the money for terror and to attack Israel.
Yeah.
The Israeli Air Force.
If you got it last night, that was from Jess in the chat, man. She's awesome from Australia.
Is
Awesome, man.
monitoring
Appreciate
the
you being here.
compound, as you can see. However, we will not strike the hospital itself. I want to emphasize, we are not at war with the people of Lebanon. We are at war with Hezbollah. And we will continue to operate against Hezbollah so that the residents of northern Israel will be able to return to their homes in safety and security.
What's up, Miss Lotus? Good to see you this morning. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move this on over to the only other video reporting this right now. And it is, believe it or not, I got to give credit where credit's due. It's off of CNN, but I haven't actually watched it. You know what I mean? I think it's more of like an AI kind of video, kind of weird. Anyways, this is off of CNN News 18. This is 5 hours ago. And let's go ahead and see what they've got to say on that. All right, so let me bring this down, the volume. Hezbollah's economic downturn. Israel strikes Hezbollah's financial arm. Look at that shit. Israel's bunker found under a hospital. Cash and gold found under Al-Sahal Hospital. $500 million recovered by Israel. Holy shit. Israel closely monitors the compound.
I am going to declassify intelligence on a site that we did not strike, where Hezbollah has millions of dollars in gold and cash.
Yeah.
In Hassan Nasrallah's bunker.
All right, so we know what he says here.
Where is the bunker located?
Let's go ahead and
directly under El Sahel Hospital.
Okay. Israel warned people to get away from the Hezbollah-affiliated financial institution. Israel ramped up attacks against Hezbollah after vowing to intensify strikes. Israel discovers Hassan Nasrallah's bunker hidden under Al-Sahel Hospital. Gold and $500 million in cash recovered from the bunker. Holy shit, dude. That's a lot of money. The hospital was evacuated after Israel finds emergency bunker. The bunker serves as Hezbollah's central money warehouse funding terrorism.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Israel claims it will not strike the bunker and is closely monitoring the area. Oh yeah, don't blow up the cash, dude. The troops conducted localized operations to root out Hezbollah's militants. Israel is currently targeting the Iran-backed group's financial arms in Lebanon, which we saw the map of those. Is located in several densely populated areas in the capital. So where we're seeing here, these are very dense. The financial institution provides functions like a bank to the Hezbollah group. Wow. Israel warned people to get away from the Hezbollah-affiliated financial institution, which is good. Israel ramped up attacks against Hezbollah after vowing to intensify strikes. Israel discovers Hassan, his bunker hidden under the hospital. Yes, we know that. Damn, look at those pictures, man. Shit's fucked up. You got $500 million hidden in that fucking junk? Damn, dude. You really fucking hurting then, it seems like. We just want the gold. That's right, Huggy. It will not strike the bunker and is closely monitoring. Yeah, of course not. There's just $500 million in there. That's right, Tiffany. What's up, Nitro in here? And also Joker. Appreciate you guys for being here. Look at those fucked up area, dude. Damn, just crumbles. Absolutely, Briar. Appreciate you for being here. Yeah, no kidding, Steve. What's up, Shelby? Good to see you, man. Good morning, kind sir. This is some crazy fucking news right here. I don't know why the media is not talking about this. Aside from these two things on this, there's no one talking about it. If anybody found this amount of money in the world, it'd be talked about everywhere. But because they're Jews, guess they're not going to talk about it. That's not fucking fair. Hey, just like the shitty car in the hood with the keys in the ignition, don't look in the trunk. That's damn straight. What up, Nicole? Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, fucking crazy. Yeah, this is a little wild, right? All right, so let's go ahead and move on over to something very interesting, a little bit off topic, okay, everybody? Now, this is something that I did find that was very interesting in the news, okay? As you guys know, I'm constantly scanning, and I actually saved where I didn't watch it, you know what I mean? But I did see the title, and I'm like, okay, this has got to be very interesting. And so I figured, hey, we might as well do a live reaction to that. Let's go ahead and check that out right here. This is going to be a very interesting one right here. So this is new video of Houston helicopter crash that killed 4. It's off of Live New Fox. Let's go ahead and bring up.
Last fall, a live look at Houston. We are going to be continuing our coverage of the deadly helicopter crash that killed all 4 people on board last night in Houston. At this hour, crews are continuing to assess the scene, and Fox 26 Houston reporter Sherman DeSalle is joining us live. He's going to be bringing us up to speed on the investigation. Sherman, what's the latest?
I guess not.
Good evening, Austin. Big scene, a tragic scene nonetheless. A lot of people still out here tonight. We see HPD, we see HFD, and of course NTSB and all the local agencies that assist when a crash like this happens. Take a look. You can see those big lights are lighting up the area. Shit. They're assessing the damage. We've seen cadaver dogs on the scene earlier today. There's very limited details.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a stop here. You know what I mean? Hey, hold on. We got to get them likes up, man. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, man. It's free to do so, man. It very much helps the channel out. Appreciate it.
On exactly what led to this deadly crash, but here's what we know so far. Chilling video from neighbors as the Robinson 44 helicopter hit the 900-foot radio tower in the 2nd ward around 8 p.m. Sunday. Travis Scott, who worked security in the area, described the explosion.
And before I knew it, it just exploded, and you just see the whole tower and helicopter just coming down all at once. Really feel bad. That was something that could have been avoided.
What's up, Slim?
Everyone on board, including a child, was killed.
Brother Dwayne.
And there were 4 people on board, and tragically, all 4 were fatally injured. Our condolences go to the family and friends of those who are lost.
Data shows the aircraft took off from Ellington.
Definitely nowhere close enough, Brother Dwayne. That measly, even if it was $1 billion, you know, that's still pennies to these fuckers.
Field Sunday. NTSB and local agencies are surveying over 4 acres. There are multiple reports of debris from the crash throughout the area. Officials reported to Fox 26 Monday the aircraft did not have a flight data recorder, and it wasn't required to. Neighbors tell us the light at the top of the tower is typically hard to see. It's the same tower that was the subject of a Fox 26 report in January, found to be in the fall zone of a new housing authority project. Residents shared their concerns about what could happen to an antenna towering over a highly populated area.
Coffee time.
And there's an adjacent radio tower that they said was 300 feet tall. The truth is the radio tower is 300 meters tall, which is almost 1,000 feet.
Oh,
That's
damn.
3 football fields. I am here today to just...
Unreal.
Yeah, so the names of those killed last night have not been released again. Very tragic situation here in Houston. We're still waiting to hear more from the investigation.
I'm an air safety investigator with the National Transportation Safety Board. Here I'm investigating the helicopter accident that occurred last night. We're in the early phases of this investigation, so we're collecting all the evidence we can while we're here on scene. We plan to be on scene at least another day. So I'll go over what we know so far, and then I'll give some time at the end for some questions. So last night, shortly before 8 p.m. local time, a Robinson R-44, November 881 Kilo Echo, impacted a radio tower and crashed. There was a post-impact fire. This helicopter departed out of Ellington Airport, and there were 4 people on board, and tragically, all 4 were fatally injured. Our condolences go to the family and friends of those who were lost. Today on scene, we have been collecting all the evidence we can. We'll be doing that for at least another couple hours tonight, and then we'll be back at it tomorrow.
That's so brutal. Damn. Also, real quick, I got to reset my camera. I hate when fucking that lag hits.
I need to give a shout out to the local law enforcement, the Houston Police Department, Houston Fire, local EMS and first responders did a great job securing this scene, and they continue to serve us on scene today. Like I said, we're still in the early stages, so we're just gathering all the evidence we can. It's a pretty complex scene, so we're being meticulous in how we approach this. I will be joined with additional investigators who are on their way now, and they will be here tomorrow on scene as well. The FAA has also been involved. They were here last night, and they are assisting throughout this investigation. We do have an outlet for people to give us witness reports that I'd like to mention. That can be done at emailing witness@ntsb.gov.
Let them know.
We are aware of some surveillance videos, and if there are more, we're interested in seeing those as well. Also, witness statements can go to that same email address.
Good PR.
Future press briefings will be announced on our Twitter feed or X feed at NTSB Newsroom. With that, are there any questions? I have time for a few.
What can you tell us about the notice to air missions that was in place for this particular tower?
Okay, so the question was about notice to air missions, or NOTAMs as they're called. The FAA handles all the NOTAMs, so those would be directed towards the FAA if you have questions about the NOTAMs. I am not aware. I haven't had time to research the NOTAMs for this one, but that is something that a pilot should do before every flight, is check all the NOTAMs.
Do you know any?
Well, you know, Hardwire did say it best. You know, it's unfortunate. These are, you know, things that do happen. The risks that we do take, you know, anytime that we're in a moving vehicle or, you know, aircraft, right? So with that, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move our attention. I'm going to direct our attention here to a live ordeal that's going on right this second with Donald Trump. So let's go ahead and tap in. Let's go ahead and see what is going on over here. This is live. What's going on? We're only a few minutes behind right now. This is what's happening now.
And former President Trump just walking up to the mic. So let's pop up the audio.
We're going to turn our country around. We're going to make it great again, as I say. We're going to make America great again, but we are joined by a lot of fantastic people.
The Latino, I'm trying to remember the name of the group.
People. And it really is an honor to have you at Doral, especially. This has been a very special place for me. It's been a great success. I want to thank all of the representatives
Latino
from the
Americans
Doral
for Trump
area, because the mayor and everybody. Where's Christy? Is she around? Let's see. Christy. Oh, Christy.
Oh, I definitely believe it, Hook Dog. That's definitely out of my pay scale.
Hi, Christy. Hi, sweetie. You've been so great. We've been so great, and we worked together for
Damn, that
a long
sounds
time,
bomb.
right? Although she's so young, it's not that long. It can't be that long, but it is 13 years. Wow. That's pretty good. Yeah, since I bought it. And you've been great. Thank you very much for everything. And we're going to just say a few words. We're going to talk about what's happening with the election. We'll take some questions from the fake news.
Oh.
And we will get on with it. We have a great panel today, and I appreciate it. We have some real religious leaders. They're the most powerful ones on the panel by far, right? Right, Chrissy? They're the most powerful. And look at that gentleman. That's the biggest church I've ever seen in my life, right? When we need overflow, we use your church, and we get great people.
That's
in
right,
that church,
SNS.
and you are fantastic.
Couldn't do this shit without you guys.
All of the people that have been supporting us for so long and so strongly. We're doing very well. The polls are looking great, and I think maybe more important than even the polls are the initial numbers are looking incredible. You know, in North Carolina, I was there, did 3 stops there actually yesterday, and one. No
kidding, Harwire.
Right after.
I would hate to repeat myself nonstop.
But in North Carolina, we have just an amazing result.
I didn't check that yet. I really have not been on my Instagram in the last couple of days. I need to like respond to, like, I got a whole bunch of messages that I got to go through after this. You know what I mean? For real.
We were expected to maybe have 50% of the vote or 30%.
What's up, Redneck? Good to see you, man.
The place was, the people were wiped out. And in some of the worst hit sections, they had more people voting than they had in 2016 or in 2020. Can you believe it? Wow. Nobody expected that. They thought if we got 50%, I mean, you have to see the homes were just absolutely leveled, floated away, many of them.
Yeah, that's
there was death. There was death.
Terrible.
And FEMA's responded not well. The White House has done a very poor job. They should be ashamed of themselves, actually. But the people kicked in.
Savage.
Franklin Graham's been fantastic, and we've raised a lot of money.
Time for a little bit of left-handed tobacco.
We've raised a lot of money,
you know what I mean?
For the area, a lot of money, over $8 million and we've given out to various people that we know do a good job. I met some people there yesterday that were incredible. A couple of them said the nicest things. I think the nicest, the most beautiful things I've ever had said about me. I thought I heard everything. I've heard everything, good and bad. And they said the most beautiful things. So, so I just want to thank them. The words were so beautiful. So, Doral Mayor Christy Fraga, and thank you very much. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, wherever Francis is, and I just.
Okay, so this is held in Miami. I didn't even notice.
I just saw him on television.
Because I was wondering.
On Fox, and he was saying the best things about me. And thank you for everything and the endorsement and all. Thanks a lot, Francis. You're doing a great job, too, both of you. Everybody should have mayors like this. We see some mayors. We see a lot of mayors that aren't quite as good, I will tell you, and some that aren't good at all. The mayor of Hialeah, Esteban Bobo.
I love when he starts calling out like mayors and governors and shit. On a, I mean, good and bad note, right?
And you know why I love you is because he named their main street after Trump. Going right into Hialeah, going into the track, it's Trump. So many people call me. They say, thank you, man.
Yeah, I mean, do you think they're just going to allow any car to go through the drive-through, you know what I mean, over there on the McDonald's ordeal with Trump yesterday? Like, hell no. Secret Service going to they're going to know every person going in and out of that McDonald's. They're going to know every car. They've already probably searched every damn car that's going to be in that drive-through. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy, but yeah.
Say, I just saw the most beautiful street. It's got your name on it. And that's sort of one of the first. And I really appreciate it, Mayor. You've been great. Members of Congress, Maria, Elvira, Salazar, thank you. Thank you, Maria, very much. And a friend of mine for a long time, Carlos Jimenez. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. And you were also great today, Carlos. I watched you. You got up and you let him have it. You said how bad she is.
I'm
how
an
good
XL.
I am. And I
I'm
said,
an XL, you
"That's
guys.
fine, Carlos."
I appreciate
and
that.
She is
That's
bad.
dope.
Look, we don't need.
Hell yeah.
We don't need bad people.
You guys
We
have
had 4
Instagram?
years of bad,
Redneck side?
and we're not going to have 4 more years. The country can't survive it. It is amazing. Think of it. I said, where is she campaigning today, sir? She's got a day off. You got 14 days left for the presidency, and she's taking a day off. This is not what you want. This is not what you want. Matt, say hello, Matt, my friend for a long time, huh? A man who has been incredible. He owns Goya Foods. I eat it whenever I can. So Bob, and everyone knows it, but I think you're probably the most well-known. You know, they attacked Bob. He announced that he's in favor of Trump. And, you know, the radical left lunatics went crazy. They just went crazy. And they do
I love how
things
he uses that
probably
nomenclature.
are illegal, probably. I think it's actually
Liberal, radical. What did he say? I always try to
in favor of Trump. And, you know, the radical left lunatics went
radical left lunatics. Yes.
crazy.
That's the
They just went
nomenclature
crazy.
he
And they do
uses.
things that probably are illegal. Probably. I think it's actually illegal. They'll go after companies. They'll go after viciously. They'll never go after your oil company, but they'll go after. You wouldn't stand for it either.
Yeah.
But Bob did something that was amazing. He said, you know, some people fold because they're weak, and they
true.
make a mistake in folding. Because once you fold, then they go after you again and again. But Bob did it different with Goya. He was very proud of it, and he went out there and he said, "That's right. We love Trump. We love everything that they like our policies. Number one, he likes our policies. Then he got to like me." But he went, and everybody thought, "Oh, this."
I
would
knew
be
this
bad for his
episode was going to be
business." And his
hard
business
with the
doubled
topics.
and then tripled, and then right? I made him a lot of money because we have tremendous support. And you've been just a great friend for a long time now, right? For a long time. He took some heat at the beginning, but he handled it really incredibly. And whenever I see your food as opposed to I eat it. It's actually quite good out of the can. We do actually travel with cans. You know, people don't know that. We do travel with cans.
Typical.
Anyway, I want to thank you very much. Mario Rodriguez. Mario, thank you. Thank you. Oh. Thank you, Mario. Do you want to say something, Mario? Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, Mr. President, it's amazing what you've
What's
done
up, Todd?
for the Hispanic community, and you are going to be rewarded handsomely for that.
Thank you.
How so?
Well,
You gonna give me money?
They've rewarded me already. You know, it actually, this love affair has been going on pretty much from the beginning. Now, 2016, it was a little early, but then I started producing for them, and they produce for the country because the level of
What's up, BD? Good to see you, kind
genius,
sir.
entrepreneurship,
Good morning. Good morning.
energy that they have. It's an incredible community, and I liked them, and they liked me, and now they're seeing numbers that are shocking. They're seeing numbers. I saw it this morning. The anchor was almost crying. They said,
That's
"What's
so
going
funny.
on over here?" It's been a great relationship. Thanks a lot, Mario. Mercedes Schlapp, thank you, Mercedes, very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mercedes. And a man who's really, he's got it, Pastor Ramiro Pena.
Enya.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor. Eduardo, thank you very much for being here. Big movie star from Mexico. He's done a great movie. We watched
From
it
Mexico.
together, Freedom, and really great. And you're doing another one very soon, I think, on a similar subject, right? That's a very sad subject, but that really did create awareness for a very tough situation. So we appreciate
Good
it very much.
observation
Thank
there,
you for
good
being here.
hook dog. That's
Thank
funny.
you for being here. Rick Scott's around someplace. Where's Rick? Hello, Rick. Hi, Rick. I just saw a poll. I saw two things. I saw a very nasty commercial about you, and it was false. I was going to call you, and I said maybe he's going to be there. Nasty but false commercial. Such a lie. But don't worry, I have a lot of them about me, and it hasn't affected us. But Rick is fantastic. He was a great governor, and he's a great senator. He's a great senator, And
No way.
the good news is I saw.
We didn't see that
you're
was
really
going to
doing
happen.
great, so you're doing.
She
really
doesn't have a track
fantastically,
record of that.
but, just keep it going. So this election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of total failure, because what's going on now, we are a nation in decline. We're a failing nation. We're laughed at all over the world. No matter where you go, they laugh at us. They can't even believe what's happening. And I'll tell you what, she's worse than he is. And they do lie. I was just saying to Rick, the lies. They say the exact, I'll have like 10 different things where I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Everybody knows it. The media knows it. They do nothing to change it. And then they come out with a commercial saying exactly the opposite. I mean, things like, I'm in favor of, or let's say they even say it differently, I'm against fracking. That's the first time I've ever heard it. Trump is against fracking. They do things that
What?
Just, and
I love how he debunked that shit right the fuck away on national television, or international, I guess, right?
Heard it. Trump they even say it differently. I'm against fracking. That's the first time I've ever heard it. Trump is against fracking. They do things that is just, and she's against fracking, but now she says she's for it. So I've had Hillary. I've had Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, he
I've
had a
lot of
few
people
Big
that
Macs,
I've run
homies.
against
He's
now.
got the carb
And,
diet.
He's
a little tired, dude.
Scale, I work with
You got 7 nuggets
and
instead of
trying to get
6.
them elected. We're doing very well. The Republicans, I think we could end up, I don't want to use numbers, but we could end up surprisingly good, right, Rick? It could be a number that people would be shocked at.
I didn't
if you
even
would have said
notice
it
her,
even
Barbie.
2 months ago.
Wow.
And I'm helping all of them, every one of them. And we had some great results. We've had some results that are really surprising. But this is the one, this woman is the worst, the lying. It's just unbelievable. Like the IVF, the fertilization. I came out totally in favor of it right from the beginning. She said, I'm against it. Carlos, she goes, he's totally against it. Every single item that having to do with energy, having to do with everything. And then she's got the worst governor in the country, probably the worst. I think she made a horrible mistake. We'll see what happens on November 5th.
What's up, Joseph?
Let's
Good to
what
see you, kind
happens.
sir.
But there's something wrong with him. Honestly, there's something wrong. And there's something wrong with her, too. She's slow, low IQ, something. I don't know what the hell it is, but they lie. We don't need another low IQ person. We had one for 4 years. We don't need another one.
Oh, shit. It's going down.
I mean, crooked Hillary lied, but she didn't do it like this. I mean, she wouldn't take things that were so obvious and just say the opposite. They say the exact opposite. And as you know, there are 15 different elements of policy that she changed. She was in favor of sex changes for prisoners at their will, paid for by the government. And now she says, no, I don't think that would be a good idea. She was totally, I mean, when you talk about fracking, she said no fracking we have 25 commercials. Sometimes we put them on simultaneously. She's just, and now all of a sudden, I love fracking. I think it's wonderful. Although today, though, it came out, they had a bad thing come out today. One of her people said she's essentially against fracking. And it's very interesting when that came out.
The environment
it was
has
sort of a big
changed.
story. One of her top people said that because that's where they are, Rick. That's where they are. They're against fracking. They're never going to, and they're against anything having to do with what's under the ground. And that's what, Germany just went through it. They almost destroyed themselves. They went into a situation where they were putting windmills all over the place, and the wind wasn't blowing so much. And if they kept that process going, Germany would right now be bust. That's one of the primary reasons that Angela is not there anymore. They tried it. They had solar. They had solar fields that's so big. I mean, I saw a solar field come, and I'm in favor of solar, but it's not the same thing. It's got to fire up these massive plants. It's not going to. But I saw a solar field the other day that looked like it took up half the desert. I'd never saw anything like it. It's all steel and glass and wires, and looks like hell. And you see rabbits, they get caught in it, and for the environmentalists, it's just terrible. I like, some applications where you have it on a roof or you have it on something, but I'm looking at solar fields that are like miles and miles of just, and what it does to your desert areas or the areas that you're putting, it's just crazy. We have stuff right under the ground. natural gas. We have things that we had the cleanest air that we've ever had during my administration, and yet we also had more jobs, more productivity. We had the best numbers we've ever had. We had the lowest taxes we paid in life. So we're in a race, and we're in a race with some very sick people. They're liars. They just lie. They lie.
Be
about
good, Danny.
everything.
We'll see you on the flip side. I was hearing something
gonna
outside, by the way.
really hard on the trail today, but now I don't have to because she's off. She's off. No, I can't get over it. Who the hell takes off? We have 14 days left, and she'll take a couple of more days off too. You know why? She's lazy as hell, and she's got that reputation. She's a radical left lunatic. She's further left than Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. Now, Pocahontas, because I think, is Pocahontas further left than Bernie? Just about, right? It's close. It's close. Who the hell cares, right? Rick says, I don't know. But they're out there. But she's furthest
This
left.
shit is
We
wild.
can't have a person. She's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor. By the way, the fake news, look at all of them. Where is the father? We should interview, because I'd find it interesting to see what he has to say. He's, I don't know, they seem to have a problem, but it would be nice to interview the father. He's a Marxist professor. And I think that's okay. That's good, fine. But I think it's appropriate that the father be interviewed by the fake news. They don't want to interview him, and I wonder why. If we had a real press in this country, this wouldn't even be a race. And I'm not sure it is a race.
I agree,
anyway.
Barbie, with that.
They just came out with the
I don't like when any
Atlanta
candidate does it.
Constitution. Just came out with a poll that we're 5 up in Georgia. We're up and let's see what happens, because it all doesn't matter, because bad things happen. Some very, very bad things happened last time, and but this time we don't have COVID. And it's going to be a lot harder for them to do bad things.
Good morning.
So
Good morning.
see. We have tremendous people. We have a lot of lawyers working. We have lawyers working, numbers of lawyers that nobody's ever seen before, because we're not going to play games, because we're going to lose our country. Our country's failing. We don't know what we're doing. We're laughed at all over the world. President Xi thinks we're stupid. Putin thinks we're stupid. That would have never happened. Putin, if I were president, Putin would have never, ever gone into Ukraine. Now we have a number of dead people that's so much greater than what they say. They knocked down an apartment house that's 2 blocks long. They're big buildings in Ukraine, 2 blocks long and 20 stories high, and they say one person was slightly injured. No, many people were killed when they did that. And these towns and cities all over Ukraine are knocked down. Millions of people. I mean, when you look at the total number of dead from that war, and it would have never happened, should have never happened, there was 0 chance. His energy policy also helped it happen, because he drove energy through the roof, because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And if you look at now, Israel, October 7th, that would have never happened. But if Bibi Netanyahu followed the plan of Biden, he didn't want him to do anything. And a bad thing happened today. You probably heard. Now, the press isn't covering it very much, which is just incredible. Possibly our Defense Department or somebody. Anyway, it was leaked. The entire military plan of Israel. The military plan. The plans they have at the highest level. It was leaked. Highly confidential information. It was leaked by somebody. They have no idea who did it. Can you imagine you're fighting a war and you have your Americans, Carlos, can you imagine anything like that? Did you hear this? They leaked all the information about the way that Israel's going to fight and how they're going to fight and where they're going to go. And somebody, who did that? Can you imagine somebody doing that? That's the enemy. I guess that maybe is the enemy from within, as I talk about. We have an enemy from within. They hate to talk about it. But could you imagine? Could you imagine? So we just can't stand for this incompetence anymore. We are an incompetently run country. We're led by a man that, first of all, look, I'm not a fan of his, but what they did to him was incredible. He had 14 million votes. He won the primary fair and square. He had 14 million votes, and they came to him. They said he had a bad debate. He didn't do well, and his numbers went down, but but I think he would do probably in the end, he might do better than her because she's more incompetent than he is. I think she's grossly incompetent. And I don't want to be nice about it because we can't take a chance. Nobody knows who she is. You say Harris. Her name is Harris. Who the hell is Harris? Nobody, even political people don't know. Rick Scott has no idea who the hell Harris is. No, people don't know who Harris is. But now they're finding out that she's a radical left lunatic.
I did not see that.
Take a
I got to
chance
see
of
that.
losing
Did
this
not know that
election
was even a
because if
thing.
we lose this election, we may not have a country anymore. We may not, we never, and I've heard this from a lot of very smart people that are very straight down the middle. They say, we may never have an election again in this country. This is where we're going. I used to say that if we don't do something, we all know what's happened with Venezuela. This was 20 years ago, one of the great countries of the world, and now it's troubled, to put it mildly. And I said would be Venezuela on steroids, meaning a bigger version. That can happen. Who would think it can happen? But I see it because I see the people that we deal with. And these people they don't love our country. They don't love our country. And we're going to do something about it, but we have to win the election. So, when they get up and they lie about every single thing, they tell you, they know your position. And in my case, it's been my position for many years. One of the people said the other night on television, he's a great guy, Jesse Waters. He said, whether you like Trump or not, his position's been the same for 30 years. I mean, it's been the same. I want strong borders. I don't want foreign countries to rip us off.
That's one thing you got to respect about, dude.
We're being ripped off by everybody, and our friends do it worse than our enemies. It's incredible. We had that very well going, and we did a good job on that. But we're going to do the ultimate job. We're going to bring a lot of those jobs back. I think we're going to bring more than we lost back, and it's going to happen very fast through intelligent taxation, tariffs, and incentives. And you're going to have companies pouring into our country, and they're going to be very happy. I think that's why I'm doing so well in Michigan. That's why the auto workers like Trump so much. Their union head is a stiff. He's a total stiff. He has no clue. He wants to go all electric, and all electric cars. They want to have all electric cars, and they're wonderful.
I'm against all electric cars, for the record.
We want gasoline propelled cars. We want hybrids. We don't want hydrogen mechs because they blow up and you are no longer
and they're extremely expensive.
This guy owns more gas stations than any guy.
Hydrogen is so fucking expensive. Hunter, it cost me $200 to fill up 5 kilograms of hydrogen.
Started with nothing, and he's a very successful.
That only gets you 140 miles.
So I just want to thank. So I just want to thank you all. We can't play games with these people. These are people that are dangerous people. And again, Hillary and Biden. Biden didn't tell the truth very much, but he was much better than this one. This one is just an
fair point, Steve.
I've never seen
very
anything
fair.
like it. Point after point after point, and then they do ads and they just say this stuff. And I just wonder. I hope the public is understanding it. I hope, because I found the public to be amazingly smart. They get it. I found it to be amazing that they get it, but the level of
it's literally
lying
insane,
is just
Heather.
Incredible. And
yeah.
I mean, to a point where I
don't
can't
let them
even imagine
fucking
it's legal.
Get your goat with this shit.
Some of these
don't fall for it.
The top guys, I said, can they absolutely, 2 weeks before an election, go
petroleum
out
will always be king.
Where every one of your policies are the exact opposite. Isn't that election interference, and isn't that fraud? And isn't there a court that can do something about that? But the end result is, we can talk about it here and people can listen and they understand it. I think they understand it. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go around, take a couple of questions and have a little fun, okay? It's an honor to be with everybody.
I love that he's taking questions right now.
This great Hispanic
that's dope.
Community. Great, thank you very much.
Let's go.
Mr. President, you know that the Latino community loves you, and it was such an honor.
Bring your mic up.
It was such an honor to work for you at the White House all 4 years. And I got a front row seat of how much you cared about the Latino community, and you delivered results and you didn't pander to us. You gave us opportunity, and that's what we want. We want the American dream. My mother was born in Mexico. My dad was born in Brooklyn with very humble means, and they worked very hard and achieved the American dream. So that's how what other country could a little girl from East LA make it to the White House to work for President Trump.
That's dope. She's choking up.
And thank you. And that dream is achievable through jobs. And we care, like all Americans, about the #1 issue, and that's jobs and the economy. And we have some amazing business owners here, sir, that want to tell you about how it was under your administration and what the trouble they're having. And so we have Joel Garza, who's here, who owns many Sonic franchises, among many other things. He's an entrepreneur. And so, Joel, why don't you tell the president and everybody here about what you're experiencing?
Thank you, Mr. President,
Thank you.
to have us here and taking the time to be with us today. It's been the last 3.5 years, the worst years for businesses. Inflation, interest rates with banks, prices, everything.
Now we're
everything,
talking.
You know, it's nothing compared to 2017 to 20, when you were, you know, at the White House. And my biggest issue is going to be, it's easy to destroy what you build, but I don't think it's enough time for you and 4 years to rebuild again what these people destroy. I live in the city of Houston, and the last 2 years, 30% increase in property taxes. And we got a great governor. Governor Abbott, he's a great guy.
That's true.
Great guy, but we need your help as soon as possible. We need you help us with banks to stop regulations. It's just so difficult right now to create more jobs.
I think we're going to get it going very quickly, actually. I think it's a lot of time, and we have some very good foundation. We have, as an example, the tax bill that we passed. We gave you the biggest cut in taxes in the history of the country. Bigger than the Reagan cuts. And all of that stuff, it's going to be very hard for them to give it up. I can't imagine politically that it would be possible. It would be a disaster for the country if that could lead to a depression, frankly, if they gave that up. But we have a great foundation to build on, and we're going to have things. So we're going to have a lot of companies coming in very fast. And I know your area does have some problems, incredibly. People don't talk about that, but they do. But most areas have problems because the policies of this administration, they don't even have a policy. They're like, they don't have a policy. There's nothing. They don't have anything. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, think of it. They want to go to all electric cars, the whole thing electric.
Terrible.
They need $9 trillion, I read the other day, to do a charging station, Max. He owns the gasoline stuff. And to do a charging station, and they built 8 charging
If you care about our environment, you wouldn't be picking electric cars, by the way.
stations up in the Midwest someplace. They spent $9 billion. I kid you not. You know what that is? A charging station is like a gas pump. It's the equivalent
exactly,
of a gas
Gary.
pump. They
twist it up all the time to make their position look stronger on that.
8 charging stations. So if you look at it that way, if you did the whole country, you would have spent $30 trillion, okay? Which is more than the country, which is every country in the world. It's so out of control. It's so horrible. And they don't want to change. The truckers came in to see me. The truckers are great. They have trucks that can go from New York to Los Angeles on a tank of diesel fuel. And they came in almost crying. They said, these people are crazy. They want us to go to electric trucks.
Yeah, fucking right.
And the problem is they don't go far. They'd have to stop 6 times. I mean, you talk about no deliveries. They have to stop 6 times. They're 2.5 times heavier than gasoline or diesel. So the truck would weigh 2.5. I said, well, that could be a problem, right? Yes, you'd have to rebuild every bridge in the United States because they can't hear. What do you think of that, Carlos?
Shit.
So now if you're a child, you'd say, okay, that doesn't work. You know, those 2 things, right? It doesn't go far. And the other thing, third thing is they have to use half of the capacity for the battery because the battery takes up tremendous amounts of room, much more than a load of diesel fuel, which is.
What's up, Papa Penguin? Good morning, kind sir. Good to see you.
Little things, I'll give you little boring facts. As the truck goes, the fuel gets lighter, the battery stays the same weight. So it's massively heavy, and it takes up about 50% of the area that you're supposed to use to transport it. So it doesn't work. So normally what you do is say, all right, after about, would you say 3 minutes, Carlos? 3 minutes, you'd say, okay, let's get on to the next. That doesn't work. They say, we don't care. We want you to do it. And these truckers are beside themselves. They're going to be forced to do electric trucks. They're not going to work. Maybe someday in the future, I don't know, maybe someday, but it's possible it'll never work because it's so crazy. But think of it, just the weight or the distance, they don't go far. The cost is astronomical. And these guys are going to be all put out of business. You're not going to have any truckers. And they say, we don't care. Build it. That's what we want. We want all electric trucks soon. Like, you give them such a short period of time. These are big.
We want it
One
soon.
gentleman had 29,000 trucks. And he said
Glad
to
you're
me,
still with us, Nicole.
I've been buying trucks for 50 years. And every damn year they got better and bigger and stronger and more efficient. Every single year. And then we build the cabs. We build apartments on the back of those trucks. And I'll tell you, sir.
Wow, no way. That's a wild number. Off topic. HIV is up 73% in Canada due to migrants entering Canada. We are on the hook for 50,000 plus a year of for their meds. Holy motherfucking shit. 73% increase. That's humongous. Like, I had to pause the whole show because that's crazy. Wow. Wow, that's absolutely
You'd be proud to
insane to
live
know.
in one of those trucks. See, I don't know about that. I might be. Who knows? Who knows? But and I think he meant it, actually. But he said, you'd be proud, in the cab, they built like the place for them to sleep and stay. He said, some of those things are so beautiful. But he said, every year for 50 years, it got better. And if we had to go to electric, we would go back more than 50. We'd go back to 60 years. It would be worse than the truck from 50 years ago. Doesn't work. So what you say is it doesn't work, but they want to force it down your throat. Look at the case of Los Angeles and California. They have brownouts and blackouts all the time, and they want to go all electric. They don't have enough electric for themselves. They want to go all electric with one of the worst governors. And by the way, she, as the Attorney General, helped destroy the state of California, and she destroyed probably, that's Harris. She destroyed probably maybe the best city in the world. I mean, San Francisco was one of the greatest cities. A friend of mine, Bob Tisch, used to say that's the best city that he's ever been. He was in many cities, the great Bob Tisch. And he said San Francisco was the best city in the United States. And now it's
that was for Hardwire's
horrible.
comment, not for that comment.
Property there, and it's
That's
very
that would be
costly
Cap.
every time I do this, but I don't care
San
because this is a
Francisco
much
being the
higher
best
calling.
city.
I
Stop
hurt the
that.
value of my property tremendously when I say this, but it's almost unlivable now with the crime and all of the things that are happening.
New York's terrible.
And the only thing I would disagree with you on is that the economy is very important. I actually think that the biggest thing is the border, because the border is destroying our country. It's really destroying. I think the economy is bad, but I think and it's made really bad by the horrible inflation that was caused. That the inflation is really the biggest problem. But I really believe that even the inflation, and that's a country destroyer, it's a country buster, they call it, inflation. But I really think that the biggest problem this country has is what they've allowed to happen to us on the border. They've allowed our country to be destroyed. They're allowing thousands of murderers and drug dealers and terrorists and people from mental institutions. They're emptying out their jails into our country. They're emptying out their jails. And by the way, their crime rates all over the world are going down. They have many people now coming from the Congo in Africa. It's not just, you think about South America, they're emptying out their jails in the Congo, and they're delivering them to the border, and they're saying, congratulations, here's America. And we have 21 million people at least over the last little while. And if they got in, they're going to have open borders 100%, just like they tried to trick everybody. They said they tried to tighten it up a little bit just to because they have an election coming up. It didn't work much. But they forgot
What's up, Bob?
to tell
Good
you
to see you.
that
Good
they
morning, kind
continue to
sir.
fly big, beautiful Boeing jets right over the border with hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants landing in the Midwest and other places. They forgot to stop those planes coming in. They thought they were going to put a little bit of a show on the border and they could show something. They didn't do it. I think it's the single biggest problem because our country is loaded up right now with murderers and with people and seriously ill people from mental institutions. And those mental institutions are empty. And those jails are becoming empty. And countries are down 60, 70, and 80% in crime. And we're going through the roof with crime.
Yes, sir, Bob.
She said, no, the migrants don't commit crime. These migrants are, the criminals that they're allowing in are tougher than any criminal there is. The only good thing about it is they make our criminals look like nice people. These are ruthless, horrible people. I'd like to ask Max to say a few words because he gets it from the standpoint of where he was born. He grew up in a system, and I've seen him speak very beautifully on this subject of what's happening to our country. Max?
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for being here. Last time you asked me to talk, I took everybody else's time and you told me to shut up, so I'm going to make it very brief.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to start by saying, drill, baby, drill, because that is your motto. I am extremely confident, without a doubt, that the first day that we elect Mr. Donald J. Trump, our next president.
It's a little bit of play on words, Dragon. It's a little bit of play on words. It has to do really with our asylum laws. If we're really getting down to the nitty gritty of it, that's essentially where we really need to patch that shit up. Honestly, I mean, just because you're from a poor country doesn't mean that you can seek asylum in the United States.
The first day in office, I guarantee you he will solve half of the problems that we have. The most important.
Sure.
Most important, on November 5th, the election is not about you and us. It's about freedom and oppression. And this is the only man that I know that can handle that. This is the only man that has survived, for the grace of God, things that we can never imagine. And he gets up and he says, fight, fight, fight. I happen to be honored today. I am honored today by being surrounded by representatives of God on earth, and we have to pray. And I always would say, pray, 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 but fight, 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 because that's exactly what we need to do. Praying itself is not going to do it. We need to pray and fight. Now, talking about the economy, this is very simple. You made us
fix their mics.
Energy independent in just a flick of a finger.
That's right.
You can do it again. Now, here's the problem. We have people running our country who are totally economic illiterate. These people have never had a job. These people have never run a business. These people have never signed the front of a check. Mr. Donald Trump has done all of that, and he runs the country.
Make sure you guys like the video, man. Thank you guys for the help on that.
You cannot keep printing money that you don't have to help people who hate you instead of taking care of your own neighbors here in America. That's why he will make America great again. And when he makes America great again, he will make the whole world great again. Because we need to be.
Well, it starts with the head, right?
Take care of our problems, and then we can go.
United States is the head of the world.
So thank you, Mr. President. Talking about the American dream. A young boy came to this country at age 13, didn't even know the language. And one day, he's sitting in a panel.
Oh, man.
The best man, the President of the United States of America. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Wow. We got choked up right there. Damn. That's heavy.
Mr. President, and it's a misnomer that Latinos want open borders. We want a secure border like all Americans. And we know what it leads to. Eduardo, who is the producer of Sound of Freedom, he has so much firsthand experience. So Eduardo, why don't you tell us about the movie and what we're facing with the immigration that the president's talking about?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, President, for your time. My name is Eduardo Verástegui, and I am very grateful to this nation for opening the door to my dreams. This nation has been such an amazing blessing in my life. God bless America. God bless Mexico, and God bless Hispanic America. And let's make America and Mexico and Hispanic America great again. Together, pro-life again, healthy again, and free again. I met these heroes 10 years ago in Los Angeles, California. Ex-Navy SEALs, ex-CIA agents, and they travel around the world undercover rescuing children. And when they told me in details what they do,
you really do sound like you're from Miami.
Children, my eyes were open. And I said, I'm a filmmaker. I wanna make a movie about this, because the first step to eradicate child trafficking is to raise awareness. Because if you don't know that this problem exists, how you can fix it?
Yeah, you can't.
So
you have to be able to talk about it.
God that I will dedicate my entire life to end child trafficking.
Nice.
To end child trafficking. Because
that's a good motive.
Children are not for sale. Children are sacred. And I am very grateful with you, Mr. President, dear amigo, dear hermano, because of you hosting a private screening in your house, because of you endorsing Sound of Freedom. After that, Sound of Freedom became the #1 independent film in box office ever in history, produced by a Mexican producer. Thank you for that. Thank you for the incredible hard work you're doing. Thank you for putting the children first. And that's why it's so important, is for all the media, for all Mexican Americans, Hispanic Americans, to vote for President Trump. And I know we will win for the third time. For the third time. Yes. Yes.
He said it. Not me. He said it.
And that's a fact. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. Because it's true. Because it's true. Look what is happening right now. Look what is happening right now with these evil people. Obama, Hillary, Kamala, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, all this team. There's more than 300,000 children, over 300,000 children that they came through the border, they released them, and we don't know where they are. Kamala, where are the children? Kamala, where are the children? You know, these people, Kamala and Biden, they're the biggest human traffickers in the history.
Oh, shit.
And everyone knows that. And that's why I'm here to give my 100% to support my dear friend, President Donald Trump. And again, we will win for the third time. God bless you. God bless you, Mr. President.
Really nice. Thank you.
We need to put you in the White House back again.
In the White House.
In the beautiful White House. You're going to be in the beautiful White House again.
You bring up something that people don't talk about, the press doesn't talk about. I think if it were on the other side, it would be one of the great scandals in history. It's actually 325,000 children are missing, sex slaves, or dead.
Yeah, make sure you're throwing your info too,
slaves,
SMS.
Sex slaves, missing or dead. And think of what 325,000, you know, we say it's a number, blah, blah, blah. I was talking to a reporter before. I said 325,000. Oh, what else is new? He's going like, let's go to the next question. I'm saying to myself, can you believe it? Wow. A bad sort of a reporter. I told him he is. But think of it almost like, you know, like, let's get on with the interview. Think of what 325,000, we have religious leaders up here. Think of what 325,000. How many times can you fill a nice big stadium like a Yankee Stadium with that 325,000? They're missing. I think many of them are dead. Most of them possibly are dead. It's so sad. Our country is so sad. And then you wake up to the news that we've given the entire Israeli game plan to the enemy. Who could imagine this? Who could imagine this? I would say Israel's not too happy about that, right? But with all of this together, add it up, and I'm just so glad I bring it up, and it doesn't register. Maybe it registered better the way you said it, because you're such passion the way you said that. We are missing during their regime this stupid person that was the border czar. She was made the border czar. Now she said she wasn't. She was the border czar for 3.5 years, and now she said now, whether she is or not, she was in charge of the border. That's loud and clear. She never once called the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol, by the way, 5 days ago endorsed me, which is something they're not even really supposed to do. And in endorsing me, they gave it a full-throated endorsement. But in endorsing me, they said how horrible she is. And it's not easy for them to say that. This is the vice president of the country. They work for the country. They said the worst that they've ever seen. And they're great people. They're people that want to do their job. It's easier not to do the job, probably. Just let the people walk right into our country. They want to do the job. They love the country. They're incredible people. I've gotten to know them very well. And they said not one time, the question was asked by the fake news, how many times did she call? Not one call was ever made to any of them by either Biden or Kamala. Not one call about the border. And I actually think it's the biggest thing. We talk about the economy and we talk about inflation. Let's put them together. But there's something about that border that's just really, really evil. The drugs, the human trafficking, it's not just people pouring through, it's the human trafficking, and they traffic in women mostly. It's mostly women, believe it or not, as much as we talk about the 325,000, but women still have the big edge. They traffic in women.
So
and
aside from
children,
humans?
And they do it at levels. By the way, 4 years ago, it's always bad. If you do one person, it's bad. But this is 15 or 16 times the number. Nobody checks. Nobody does anything.
Stay on track,
you
Trump.
check? You go and open the trunk of a car. That's how they put them mostly in trunks of cars. How would you like to be a woman, a little girl, a little boy in the trunk of a car? That's how they find them. A lot of times they're dead because of the heat. They drive through. By the time they get to the destination, they open the trunk and they're dead. And this horrible, incompetent person has allowed this to happen and never one time called anybody from the Border Patrol. They work for her and they work for him. And then they complain about a bill. It's a phony deal. It's a scam. There's no bill. I never had a bill. All you have to do as president, wake him up and say, Joe, we need you to say, close the border. That's what I did.
That's right.
I just said, we're closing the border. He keeps talking about, they keep bringing up a phony bill. The bill was horrible. 2 million people are allowed in. It was a horrible bill, stupid bill, but has nothing to do.
Stupid
As
bill.
president, you have tremendous, it's called extreme power. You have extreme power. You can, just by the fact you say, close the border, and the border is closed. That's it. Very, very simple. You don't need all of this nonsense that they talk about. But the truth is, for some reason, and I can't figure it out, for some reason they want open borders. Nobody's been able to tell me why. I don't think they can tell you why. They just want open borders. So we have to win the election. I'm so glad you brought up, you said 300, but the number's actually 325. I'll give you a number that's really bad too. So the Border Patrol, because they've had it, they've never done this before, they released a list of criminals in our country. And they really are tremendously good if you let them do the job like I let them do the job. We have 13,099, exactly, 13,000 during their term. They tried to say, oh, this is over 40 years now. This is during their 3.5 year that they've been there. 13,099 murderers. These are murderers. These are people that were in prison and they're murderers. Some are up for the death penalty, but some killed far more than one person. 13,099, it's the exact number. Every one of them has been released into the United States of America. Then you have the drug lords and the drug dealers. There are thousands of them. Then you have the traffickers, the human traffickers. These are people that largely were in jail, caught. Then you have the gang members. These are people that weren't in jail, but they ruled the cities. They ruled the cities, the gangs, they ruled them. You don't have them, Christian Durrell, for the most part. If you did, you'd do something about it very quickly. We're lucky. But these are gang members that are so violent. And you see it's happening in Aurora, in Colorado, where you have a governor who's a radical left governor who's petrified of the whole situation. And they have military-style weapons. They have weapons that are of military quality. Somebody said it might be a step up. It's called a military supreme. They have weapons and they're taking over apartment complexes and everything. These gangs come from Venezuela largely. What's happening to our country it's so crazy. Nobody would think it. I mean, you sit here and you're just amazed. As you speak, you get angrier and angrier because it's so simple and it's so obvious and everyone knows it's true and nobody does anything about it. All they think about is transgender operations. All they think about
He's not even joking.
we want men to play in women's sports. You know, I've never met a person, because I'm a sports guy, I've never met a person that came up to me and they say, we want men to play in women's sports. Somehow they're pushing it. Has anyone here ever met? I've been doing this a long time, and I've been talking about this for a while because I'm.
It's because everyone watches the men. Come on, let's just be real about it.
And we, despite a whole web of things, we wouldn't accept it. But we're going to just end it. But has anyone ever had anyone? I mean, you have all these great politicians up here. Carlos, has anyone come up to you and say, we insist on having men play in women's sports? I saw a volleyball match this weekend where a man who transitioned, this is the way, I'm very politically correct now because, you know, you lose in politics if you say slightly off. A man who transitioned into, congratulations, a woman, hit a ball. He was like 4 feet up in the air. He smashed a ball so hard that these young ladies that were all top players, they said, we've never seen anything. They hit her on the head. And, you know, people have been very badly hurt in that sport and in other sports. Swimming, the records, it's ridiculous. The records are being broken by numbers that nobody's even thought possible. The greatest is weightlifting. You see weightlifting records. Take a look at some of these records where a record that stood for 18 years and they put an eighth of an ounce and an eighth of an ounce and and you know, these guys are walking in and breaking it. It's so sick that you actually say they hate our country. But think, has anybody approached you and said, we want to really fight hard so that men can play in women's sports? I don't think so. So there's a sickness going on in our country. We have to end the sickness. And we have to start, because she's a radical left. You know, she was one of the leaders, the one I'm running against.
People crave attention, man.
You're all running against somebody, but the one I'm running against, she was in favor of defund the police. She was one of the starters of defund. Now, once you have that ideology, even for a week or a day, you shouldn't be president. Because if you want defund the police, even for a day, you shouldn't be president. And she was one of the leaders. So,
Mr. President.
So I just want to leave it at that. Would anybody else like to say anything? Bob, would you like to say something?
Sure, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Give a Latino microphone. We'll
That's all right. In your case.
Turn it on, though. Oh, it is on.
Mr. President, I can't believe your courage, your fight. And I know why you're doing this. You're not doing it for anything but because
Good job, producers.
You love us, and we love you. And there's a big day coming up, November 5th. It's existential for this country.
Yeah.
And there's a day about 30 days later, 20 some days later, which is Thanksgiving. And I'm looking for the day where we can sit around the table and thank God that President Trump is the 47th president of the United States. He's going to bring this country back.
Damn, that microphone. About ripped out my ears.
You know, I was, there's a famous Cuban poet, Jose Marti, and he said, there are those who are born to love and build and others to hate and destroy. You're a builder. you're a uniter, you're courageous, you love, and you create. Years ago, Elian Gonzalez, his mother, Elizabeth, brought him to these shores at 6 years old. And, you know, for opportunity, for the land of opportunity, we've become the land of exploitation. They took him out. The family had.
BD, I'm going to drop the link for you. Go to your Instagram.
Under pressure from Castro, they took him out. Our DOJ took him out. Janet Reno. You know, Mr. President, DOJ has not gotten much better since then, even under some Republican presidents. But, you know, to me, the three-letter agencies is the fourth branch of government. This warfare that's gone against you, and that's one of the ones that are taking this country away. But we had a day of protest. I was here, I was living in Florida at that time when Elian was taken. And they expected that Miami would burn, like other protests around the country by other groups. But nothing happened. And why is that? Because the Cuban community, the Colombian community, the Venezuelan community have built Miami, and they built this country where the working class.
I knew what the play on words you were trying to do.
When you build, you don't destroy. The other side of, you know, loving and building and creating is hating and destroying and dividing. And that's what's happened. We have become from the land of opportunity.
What's up, Wolf? I'm good to see you, kind sir. All the way over there in Sweden. I'm always going to say that now.
This administration. And I don't say that to be, I say that as a Latino who's fed up. Basta ya con el abuso. Where enough abuse and enough exploitation. To talk about, because I was involved with Eduardo on The Sound of Freedom as the executive producer, and we stole it out of Disney, who had no faith in it. They were going to, and Gavitarlo, they were going to put it away. But Angels lifted it up, and it became an incredible thing. And it lit a fire in me and our company to the awareness of child trafficking. Now, last year, and I know this because we were involved in anti-trafficking. On April 26, 2023, Tara Lee Rodas testified before Congress that the U.S. is the middleman in this trafficking. And I've been to Central America. Our kids are being bought for pennies on the dollar, and they're sold. We know where they are. You know, none of these sponsors that they're handed off to have been vetted. They know that
they're really stuck on this immigration thing.
Into body parts, etc.
And
so we are the middleman.
What goes with illegal immigration and all of that.
You know, Mr. President, when you become president, we need to follow this money because it's dark money. You know, we're exploiting our children. But something happened after Tara Lee Rodas. This just last
Annie
year,
Willis? Oh, yeah.
There were 85,000 children missing. And Javier Becerra, who's head of HHS, and Alejandro Mayorkas, he went to his group and said, people, Henry Ford would be embarrassed by the lack of efficiency of bringing people in as commodities to be sold. We need to be more efficient. And guess what happened? The Inspector General of DHS, Department of Homeland
These guys are about to wrap up, BD, don't worry.
They did this investigation that this year, less than a year later, were 325,000 children missing. And like the president said, also millions of
he's doing a little bit of woman prattle right now. You know what I mean?
70% are women, 25% are children. But we were so good. That's the only thing we've been good at. To tell you, this administration, the only thing they've been good at is growing the biggest industry in the world, which is human trafficking and drugs. That's the only thing that, and for exploitation, for power, for money. You know, if you go to watch Aladdin, it's a pretty cool play on Broadway. The genie says to Aladdin, never drink from the cup of money or power, never be satisfied. But this is, you know, Kamala Harris was charged with looking for the root cause of trafficking and the border problem. The root cause, you know how she could find it? Look in the mirror. I mean, if O.J. Simpson was alive, he'd still be looking for the kill of his wife. But, you know, this is the root cause. The root cause is greed and power. And we have a president who loves us, cares for us. So to me, that gives me great hope for the future of this country, that we have a president, a courageous president who has God's hand on him, who turned his head at 6:11 in the afternoon on July 13th. God's hand is
Wrap
on
it up,
this man
homie.
because he's chosen to bring us back to greatness. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad.
Mr. President, the other issue for Latinos is our faith, and you are the champion of people of faith. And so we would like
Champion
to
of
end
people?
this, if you would
I
allow
don't know
us,
about that.
with praying over you, if you would allow us. And I would like for Apostle Maldonado and for Pastor Ramiro, if you could start, and then Apostle, if you could finish, and we will pray.
All get together?
Yes, do you mind, sir?
No, got it all. Let's all get together. Thank you.
What's up, Doug? Good to see you, kind sir. Appreciate you for being here. All right, they're taking pictures, whatever. All right. So, Mr. Black Dragon, good to see. Oh, I took down the wrong screen. Good to see you, kind sir.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Mike. How
It's
are
always
you,
a pleasure.
Pleasure is mine. How are you, young man?
Doing well this beautiful morning.
Your
For you,
show
now
sounds
it's the
good, man.
afternoon.
Yes, it's 26 minutes into the afternoon.
Just that little border crossing, you know, now all of a sudden we're just the state border, you know.
Just the state border, yeah.
Right
Yeah.
there, next door.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because you're only 2 hours away from me.
I'm very close, yeah.
Yeah.
What I actually have to do, what my longest part really kind of is I have to kind of drop down in Alabama and then shoot over a little bit, you know what I mean? But anyhow, that's some woman prattle I'm on now. So what did you think about what you just witnessed? I mean, I don't know what time that you kind of came in. You I know that you missed the beginning of what we were talking about. First of all,
yeah, billions of dollars found in
yeah, so it was $500 million, or you know, it's a lot of money.
Did they take the money from them? Did they confiscate it?
So Israel did take it, and it's in their possession now, and they're refusing now to essentially destroy the place that I mean, it's already destroyed, but they're like, we're furthering not going to destroy it. You know, like, well, obviously, yeah. Why would you? It's all in rubbish.
You know? The $1 billion, was it out of a bank or something, or
it was in an underground vault underneath a hospital.
Damn.
In Lebanon.
Unintended consequences when you get to fighting with somebody.
But that money is actually Hezbollah's. What Hezbollah uses to fund their war on terrorism, or on, you know, for terrorism. That's actually what, like, CNN quoted that.
Well,
now no one's talking about it yet. You know what I mean? There's only been 2 reports on this whole thing. I guess I'm the third. But 2 of which were, one was Fox, one was CNN. And there was only, you know, from each side, there was only like 5 minutes each that they covered, and that was it. And it's like, man, if we were anybody else, if it were anybody else that found that kind of money, it would be on every Instagram post right now. $500 million, you know, it would spread everywhere. You know what I mean? But right now, no one even's talking about this shit. It's kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
If it doesn't belong. Hey, when you start lobbing bombs and shit at people,
listen, man, there's no rules, you know.
There's no rules. I'd be like, listen, let me look. I'm sorry. Can I get my $500 million back? Hey, we quit now.
Right. Facts.
We quit.
Facts.
I stopped. Can we get the $500 million back, please? A quarter of it, something, my
well,
bros.
Well, to those guys over there, $500 million ain't shit to them anyway. So,
Yeah.
Like, let me add that to the satchel,
Yeah. The satchel.
Yeah, I don't play around. I know my shit.
Yeah. If I had access to that kind of money, I wouldn't be fighting no wars. I'd be somewhere.
Hell no, me neither, dude. Me neither. Me and you would be living so like.
Yes, we would, Mike Paul.
Yeah, that's right. It's facts.
He'd be mad at me. I'd be like, I want an open relationship now.
Yeah. Power dynamic shifts a little bit,
Power dynamic shifts.
Yeah. That's great.
But yeah, no, man, that's crazy. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, and I am one of those people that believes we are really on the brink of two things, either World War IV or Civil War II.
Yeah, no kidding. I think it's both.
And
at the same time,
you know what I mean? That Civil War, then China and them are going to come take us over because all they'll just do is just wait till we just destroy ourselves and just walk in. They won't even have to fire a shot. We will have done it to ourselves.
Blair's going to have to push on you a little bit. He says World War IV?
Yeah.
You mean 3?
I mean 3. There's only been 2, right? I
just
meant
needed
3.
the pushback there. Good job there, Blair. Good lookout.
I meant 3.
I know you did.
Sometimes I don't be on my numbers right, but
this is what happens when you get old.
Well, some say we're in World War III right now, so
we're actively watching chaos. You know what I mean? It's like right now, like the just like the sound of someone's voice could like cut the tension right there. And
so what I'm seeing in that travesty we just saw, that was a fucking travesty, and not because somebody's running for president and people like him.
Sure,
that's not the travesty. The travesty is the hero worship. Nobody is that great to me. Everybody,
I agree,
deserves criticism, a jaundiced eye.
Yep. Question everything.
Question everything. This all
the time.
God has placed you here, and you are saint above all others, and all this old kind of shit. This hero worship. This is all that it takes for a person. People don't always start out bad.
Sure.
Leaders don't always start out bad. It's when it's the absolute power that can corrupt you. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yep.
And so you put a guy in office, the Supreme Court has already said that anything he does in the line of, and not just him, but anybody coming down the road.
Sure.
So one of the things that I always did as a when I took over the national presidency of the Black Sabbath Nation, the mighty Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation, from Paul Pep Perry, the father, there were no restrictions on the national president. It was a lifetime appointment, a lifetime position, and no one could outvote the national president. Paul Pep Perry was a ruler, a tyrant, a king, a potentate, a dictator, any of that you want to say.
Any of that nomenclature.
Any of that nomenclature. It's just that he happened to be a good guy. And when he passed it over to me, it was the same thing. There were no rails on the presidency. I could go there was nothing in our bylaws that said, hey, this guy gets voted out at some time. Hey, these are the limits to his power. There was none of that. And so as I was in that position, I was thinking to myself, what happens after me? What happens after? What if the guy coming behind me, which turned out to be a complete louse anyway, but what if he hits this thing with no guardrails? And so it was at that point that I started applying guardrails to the national presidency. And I say that for the same thing of a president. You know, we got a good guy we can trust, or a good gal, whatever the case may be, for up until we don't. And so when the Supreme Court says any person that's working as the president, doing president stuff, can't be found guilty of a crime, to me, it's terrifying. Trump may be great. Kamala may be great. The next person may be great. And then what happens if we get some sort of crazy person? We have given them. We've given them.
Well, at this point, it's a popularity contest in the United States, and it's who can make the most amount of money, you know, and that's what I really, really despise about the whole thing, right? Because people often ask, you know, these are the only two that we can come up with. Yeah, that can fucking fund this shit right now. Yeah, kind of shit.
That can fund it.
Because I would love, I mean, let's say if I was of age, 35, to be able to run, I would love to be able to actually think that I have a chance, but I know that I don't. Unless I have billions backing me, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? There is so much bullshit red tape.
Kamala raised $1 billion.
Did she?
She raised $1 billion in what, a month? How long has she been running?
That's what I'm saying. It's absolutely unreal. I think the very first 24 hours or something ridiculous, she had raised like 150 million. Yeah, it was something ridiculous. Yeah. I was just like mind blown. I'm like, yeah, see, that's some serious backing right there. And you need to have that in order to get elected.
No, Papa Penguin, I'm not completely wrong about what they said. There are some checks and balances still, but a lot of them have been removed. I just a lot of them have been removed. I think some things, like for instance, when Obama had a United States citizen, Khalid Sheikh, or whatever his name was, killed overseas, I thought that was too much. You can't kill a United States citizen without bringing his ass here and going to court, going to trial. I thought that was too much. That's too much. Now, I don't mind you taking out Osama bin Laden, for instance. He's not a citizen, but you can't take out citizens, you know. So when we start removing some of these checks and balances, I think we need every single damn one of them, because we just don't know who we're going to get. I disagree with you a little bit on that one, Papa Penguin, just a little bit.
So what did you think about the panel that we witnessed right there with the Latinos and Trump?
I just thought it was just a whole lot of hero worship. I can absolutely be, I'm absolutely for you being for your guy or gal. I'm absolutely for that. I just, you know, all of this.
Well, I'm going to challenge you first then. I'm going to challenge you then. I want to hear any positives from that news conference, if you got any.
I was more looking at the comments and commenting back and forth than necessarily what you know, the positive takeaways is you know, that was absolutely what it was designed to be, which was a show of support for the candidate, and I'm all for that. He killed father and son, both USA citizens, in the drone strike. Yes, he did, Blair. He killed the father and the son. The boy was 15 years old. And I thought that was just absolutely, I thought it was horrendous because you're supposed to be able to get a trial, and it's supposed to be illegal for the government of the United States of America to assassinate an American citizen who has the right to a fair trial and due process and the right to remain silent, and you have to be found guilty by your peers and so if you could see him in a room and target him with a bomb, you could have dropped some SEALs in there and got his ass out of there too, in my opinion. And then nothing happens to you for that. That's a lot of power for a man to have. And then for the Supreme Court to come back later and say, because to me that's a crime. The Supreme Court come back later and say, and if you were doing that as the president for the presidency or something like that, you absolutely can't be found guilty. Man, what is it that a person can't do? Mike Ball, they could just be like, I don't like that Mike Ball podcast. I'm fixing to drop a bomb lakeside over there and get those fish you just stocked the pond with.
Yep. Got 15K of them right there for you.
15,000 fish you put in the pond. Now Black Dragon can't come over and fish and hang out. They could do that. I mean,
absolutely. Ownership is here's
some other stuff. When you took all those people and put them in Guantanamo Bay down there to be tortured, can you put American citizens down there too? So I think we're losing the guardrails. But back to your question, what did I see that was positive in that? I saw that the candidate was doing what the candidate was supposed to do. Trump was doing what he was supposed to do. He's shoring up his base. He's doing his due diligence. He's out there. And, I think one of the biggest reasons Hillary Clinton lost her race was that she took a bunch of people for granted and didn't show up in some places where she should have. You don't see them doing that now. I mean, they've all learned from that. So everybody's where they need to be. He went through his talking points and the same talking points he's always done that he's on right now. And so I think those are the positive things. He was able to get out, show that there are a lot of people that like him. He was able to stress some points that he believed in. First of all, he got the backing of the Border Patrol, and he's right about that. They're not supposed to be doing that sort of thing. Government agencies, I'm seeing a lot of that happen. It's scary because when I was in the military, we were completely told that you don't make political comments. That was you're for America, not for one guy or another. And I think that's gone away. You see, and it makes me wonder about this thing. If this civil war thing happens or civil unrest, whatever. I mean, do you even know what side the military is going to be on? Is the military going to be on the side of the reigning government, or are they going to be on the side of somebody? When I was a kid, when I was young, I saw Russia military guys turn on the president, and they surrounded him in their version of Congress or whatever it was. They surrounded him and they started actually shooting in the windows, and they had the president surrounded and stuff. And this is, I believe it was Putin that stopped that situation from happening, which is how he managed to become what he is today. And I couldn't believe big old bad, mighty badass Russia is actually, they're trying to kill the president. So does that happen now? Have we fallen to that? Are we used to be, unquestioning, unflinching. I don't think that's so much the case anymore.
It's a lost art. It's a lost art to put aside your own wants and needs and your feelings aside for, and also not being so fucking tunnel vision that you can't see big picture. You know, like the truth is people fail at this too hard. They're 10 toes down on every fucking claim they say. They can't hear anybody else's side of the story. They can't hear anything out, and that's the problem. No one listens. I think that you know, I think that you probably can attest. On here, I actually listen a lot. You know what I mean? I listen a lot. Like whoever is speaking or whatever, I listen. You know what I mean? Because I want to understand your worldview. I want to understand how you think. I want to understand your thinking process. And people don't do that.
So, like something that Steve Easy just said, I don't trust either side, but the left has gone completely insane. They are unworthy of any support.
There it is.
Those kind of comments, those kind of thoughts terrify me, because when we stop being able to see the other side as human, we saw this with the we saw this in was it Rwanda, where the Tutsis and the Hutus, something like that. They started calling each other cockroaches, and they began to not be able to see the other side as humans. I don't believe that the other side, the left side, the right, I don't believe that they're non-Americans. I just believe that people who have a different worldview are people with a different worldview. That doesn't make them when I was growing up, it used to be communist. If people didn't like what you said, they called you a communist, and that was like the worst thing you could call somebody.
Kind of like racist and all of those terms
or something, and people would treat you accordingly. They had a whole list when I was a kid of people that were so-called communist. And Ann Coulter wrote a book later where she was talking about actually they were communists. I don't know if they were, if they weren't, but a lot of people lost their jobs, lost their careers.
I'm sure of that.
Lost their Hollywood jobs and careers and lives because somebody put them on a damn list. And I just wonder, are we going to repeat that stuff?
But it happens to everyone. Yeah. That's the crazy thing. Like, and it's just it's weird how, like, for instance, at that time it could have been that, and now the nomenclature that people go for was racist, and now you see it's turning into transphobic or whatever the case is. You know, they'll use these terms just to be able to get that last blow in, or like it's almost like anytime someone does that, they lost the argument anyways. But
I mean, Biden has been in power for 4 years. Are we singing China communist songs? Like, have we been taken over? Trump was in power for 4 years. What did we? To me, no matter who's in power, and I've lived long enough to have both sides, multiple versions of both sides in power. I still have my motorcycles. I still have my recreational vehicles. I'm still living a good, like, nobody that's been in power has destroyed America and no longer is deserving of any support. Like, I think we go too far with that shit. It's too far. There's going to be
too radicalized.
Yeah, it's too far, because once we start radicalizing and hating each other, nobody wants this war everybody keeps talking about. Yeah, if this doesn't happen, I'm ready to take to the streets and do what? Because we have a good life. We can go buy nice T-shirts. We can hang out, kick our feet up. You're not living like foot. Well, appendages. We can kick our appendages up.
Okay, I like that. Clever.
Yeah. So you still have 2 appendages. So I guarantee you, you don't want what's going on in Gaza right now.
Damn straight.
In your shit. They're facing a winter, and people are going to actually have to start eating people, dead bodies, because that's all that's there to eat. I don't think you want to face that for your convictions. I don't think you want to see that occur. And all these people that are talking about war, I mean, you just ask Papa Penguin how much of a war you want in your neighborhood. When it's a beautiful day in your neighborhood.
Yeah, and when all of a sudden that shit changes, now it's like, oh, now we have to fucking do something.
When you're sitting in your house, like over in the Ukraine, and a bomb comes through the ceiling, and they blow up your they blow up your apartment complex or something, or your school, or God forbid, your hospital. I don't think we want that, man. I mean no offense, but my comments are genuine, says Pablo.
You can't offend me, dude. You're fine, Pablo. Don't worry about it.
Fine. Nobody's.
You're good. But yeah, man. So with that being said, you know what I mean? That was something that I wanted to be able to present. I thought it was very interesting that in the very beginning of this whole thing, that still this moment, we've only got 3 different types of, I guess, media that put this out. You would think that you would have everybody in their moms talking about this shit. If I found $500 million, I guarantee you I'd be plastered internationally. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting how that shit plays out and what things kind of get buried, what don't, and the biases.
Mike, this is why the news is being killed. I just saw a YouTuber talk about 2 things. He said this YouTuber who's teaching us all how to have better YouTube channels, and he said, you know, first of all, YouTube is not dying; it's actually expanding.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is getting bigger. He said in the next few years there will probably be no advertising other than influencer advertising.
That's right.
It's
going to take over.
Advertising dollars are going to be to some kind of an influencer. All of this because when you buy an ad on CNN or Fox or one of these, it's a spread out ad, and you got something, and you're going to throw that ad out to 1 million people and hope 100,000 of them want the thing you have. Right?
Now you can actually do targeted audiences.
Now you can say, you know what? I want bikers between the age of 30 and 45 that ride blah, 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 blah. That's what I want.
And here's your YouTube analytics. Here you go. Boom. You know, it's like, that's crazy. Yeah.
And you, if you said, okay, so I'm going to go to Mike Ball, Black Dragon, Hardwire, 1%er, Aztec, SNS, or S&W.
No, SNS.
SNS. I want to say SW for something. I'm also going to go to Glare, 1%er, and Archbishop, and Big Bone, and you will hit that target because every one of those guys has pretty close to the same audience, right?
Yep.
So that kind of advertising. The other thing they said was that all news was gonna come from influencers.
That's right.
Because nobody can, because we are so invested in our audiences, that we are going to find out the news that is most important to them, and because they trust us, we're not like somebody we have a two-way conversation.
Right.
World War IV, Dragon? Really? I mean, it's instant. It's instantaneous.
Yep. They G-check you right away. If you're wrong about something, motherfucker, you know about it.
Bam! Like,
Chat always wins, dude. They take W's every day.
Chat takes the W's. Chat tells you exactly what you want, what they want to see you talking about. So if that's the case, and then we have guys out there that are dedicated to us, that are just as sharp as we are, just as well read, and so
I'm poorly read, but yeah.
But they are just as educated as we are on the subjects. So if we're straying left or right, man, I will get an email real quick. No, man. Yeah, what you reported was good, but what you don't know is the inside thing. This outlaw motorcycle club, actually, you got this, and this going on in that area, and here's where you go to look and you go to check. And these people are sending me stories. I know they do it to you. They're sending stories. They're sending information. They're sending receipts. So the next time you come on, you're even more. So all news is going to come from us.
Just really keen on things, really in tune.
So as you see that play out, our responsibility, and you were talking about this the other day, that you feel responsible with your news coverage.
Absolutely,
because
you have a responsibility.
Sitting here now for almost 2 hours, listening to you. They pay your bills.
That's right.
They make it such that you can do that for a living because they trust you.
That's right.
They trust us to report that. And then for you, I just see, you're so young, and I wish I was young coming into this, because it's such a
endless opportunity.
Imagine where it's going to be 10 years from now.
Exactly. Yep.
And I think you sit on a wing to just fly. You and Glare 1%er and Biker News Canada and Hardwire 1%, all you guys, man, really have a good opportunity to really do big things, man. So watching you guys, who just hit 1,500? Somebody just hit 1,500 subscribers
Hardwire.
today. Hardwire. That's pretty fast. It took me 1 year to get 3,000 subscribers. 1 year. So, these guys are hitting 1,500 in just a couple months, man. That is amazing. Some of you guys are going to be the next million subscriber channels, and it's going to be really cool. Papa Pingo says, I'm too attached to my paycheck. But,
Can't far from that.
Don't think NATO is a bad thing. Nobody owes us, U.S., any money. They have to bring up their spending on.
Man, NATO's a garbage organization. Stop the cat.
Why do you say that?
Oh man, I don't. That's a whole different episode. I'm not willing to go into the whole damn thing right now. I love that we're willing to have these conversations, though. Honestly, that's something that really lacks in this, is being able to have an actual conversation. Like I was saying, it's really hard for people to do that nowadays, and it's really unfortunate. And me and you disagree a lot politically as well. But look, we can do this without screaming and name calling and hollering over each other and having the Adderall, just trying to get in there,
We got to get Biker News Canada up. We got to get his subscriber base up.
Absolutely. We'll get him up.
Yeah, we'll get you up, man. Papa Penguin said NATO had its purpose. The purpose is gone. Time to change. That NATO definitely does need to change. Yeah, what happens is it becomes bureaucratic like everything else, and it becomes too big and unwieldy.
Red tape.
But it definitely had a purpose, and I think it could have a good purpose in the future. But yeah, it needs some changing. Absolutely. What was NATO called before it was NATO? Do you remember?
I don't.
I don't either, but it was
somebody in the chat will know.
It was something. Yeah, our chat knows everything.
Absolutely. So BD,
my point was, it was something before it was NATO. So
absolutely it was. I'm sure, just like anything, kind of evolves, right?
Jason wants to do a podcast called The Independent Biker, since I am a motorcycle association and not an MC. Yeah,
absolutely. Do
it.
The hardest thing is just doing it. You know what I mean?
And doing it consistently. You gotta really, and if your consistency is just once a week, but you got to do it that once a week.
Doesn't matter if it's once a month, once a week, every day. Doesn't fucking matter. Just be consistent with your shit. And that's truly how you grow the fastest, is if you're consistent, and you immediately come out with a schedule. This is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Expect me this time.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but BD, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show this morning and afternoon. And I very much appreciate it. We don't usually run these long lives. It's been.
You've been doing your since you've changed your format up.
It's been a little bit longer. You know what I mean? There's a lot to go over. There's a lot of shit to talk about. It's not really just a single article kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's super in depth. There's many layers, as you know, within world news, geopolitics, and all of that. There's going to be multiple layers. And it's something that I'm fascinated with,
I think you're doing a good job at it. I really do.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Today I wasn't even expecting to do the Trump part, to be honest, because I just saw it live and I was like, okay, well, I mean, shit, let's go ahead and react to this shit live, fuck it. But yeah, it's an enjoyable process, man. And it's something that all of you guys made in the chat made this happen. If without you guys here, honestly, how could I do it? You couldn't, you know what I mean? So, BD, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you, kind sir. Appreciate you for coming on and spending your time over here. And we'll see you on the flip side, man.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely. You got it. So with that being said, everybody, I cannot thank each and every single one of you guys enough for being here. Make sure you guys on the way out, hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. And if you guys don't already know, follow me on my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of the show, myself, and, millennial food time is always a good thing. But hey, this is where you guys can contact me right here at BallValveTV. That's where I basically do all my interactions. So much love, loyalty, honor, respect to everybody. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. We will see you guys tomorrow morning. And be safe out there. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and love, the thunderous roar.